The admission committee of the Celestial Vanguard Academy had processed approximately 47,000 applications that cycle. In their 300-year history, they had never made a mistake. Until now, Commander Zethrak, a towering Krillian with obsidian scales and 4 arms, stared at the holographic display with all 3 of his eyes. The file before him showed a creature that shouldn't exist in their prestigious halls, a human. Not just any human, but one from Earth, a planet barely touched by galactic civilization, categorized as pre-integration in the Galactic Council's database. How did this happen? His voice rumbled like distant thunder. His assistant, a nervous Valorian with translucent skin, wrung her 6-fingered hands. The automated system, Commander. Her application was tagged with sector designation E4779. Our algorithm confused it with the elite combat designation E4779. By the time we realized, she's already here, Zethrak finished, his middle eye narrowing. In galactic law states that once accepted, a student cannot be expelled without cause during orientation week. Precisely, Commander. Somewhere in the lower docking bay, completely unaware of the chaos she had caused, Maya Chen stood with her single duffel bag, her dark eyes wide with wonder. The Academy station hung in the void like a crystalline fortress, its spires reaching into the cosmos. Ships from 100 worlds came and went, their designs so alien she couldn't comprehend their propulsion systems. This has to be a dream, she whispered to herself. Just 3 weeks ago, she'd been working double shifts at her aunt's restaurant in Singapore. Then the message came. Acceptance to the Celestial Vanguard Academy, the most prestigious military institution in the known galaxy. She hadn't even remembered applying, but the authorization codes checked out. The transport ship had arrived exactly on time that a holographic guide materialized before her, speaking in a melodic language that her newly implanted translator struggled to decode. Cadet Chun Maya. Human. Species classification, Deathworlder. Please proceed to Orientation Hall 7. Deathworlder? Maya frowned but followed the floating blue arrow through corridors that seemed to shift and reshape around her. Other cadets passed by, beings of every conceivable shape. Some floated, some skittered on multiple legs, some phased partially through walls. None looked remotely human. They all stared at her. Orientation Hall 7 was massive, designed to accommodate species of various sizes. Maya found herself standing among giants. The cadet to her left was a gelatinous being contained in an environmental suit. To her right, a crystalline entity that hummed with barely contained energy. She was, by far, the smallest person in the room. The orientation officer, a dignified Altarian with flowing silver robes, began his speech. His words came through her translator with only a slight delay. Welcome, cadets, to the 307th cycle of the Celestial Vanguard Academy. You represent the best of the best, the strongest, the smartest, the most capable warriors your worlds have to offer. Maya shifted uncomfortably. There had definitely been a mistake. Your first trial begins tomorrow at Dawn Cycle. The gauntlet of proving. Half of you will fail. Those who succeed will have earned the right to continue your training here. A rippling murmur passed through the assembled cadets, excitement mixed with trepidation. Maya's hands began to sweat. That night, in her assigned quarters, a small cube that her roommate, a gaseous Nefarian, occupied only partially, Maya couldn't sleep. She pulled up the Academy's database on her datapad, trying to understand what she'd gotten herself into, the gauntlet of proving. A multi-stage challenge designed to test compatibility, strategic thinking, and survival instincts. The simulations showed candidates fighting against combat drones, navigating zero-gravity obstacle courses, and solving tactical puzzles under extreme pressure. Every previous human attempt at similar galactic trials had ended in failure. Humanity was too new, too weak, too fragile compared to the species that had evolved on high-gravity worlds or in the radiation-soaked systems near galactic cores. But then Maya found something else in the database. A footnote in xenobiology records. Earth was classified as a Class 7 death world. Only 3 other homeworlds in the entire Galactic Council had such a designation. The notation explained, extreme gravity variations, aggressive microbial life, dangerous predatory species, volatile weather systems, high oxygen content creating toxic fire risks. The list went on. Maya sat back, a strange feeling stirring in her chest. She thought about her morning runs through humid Singapore streets, the way she'd worked 12-hour shifts on her feet without breaking, the time she'd fought off a mugger twice her size in an alley. Things she'd thought were normal, necessary. Maybe she wasn't as weak as she thought. The gauntlet began at dawn cycle, though dawn, in a space station, was arbitrary. Maya stood in the staging area with 200 other cadets, all of them sizing each other up. She'd been issued standard academy armor, but it hung loose on her small frame. "Attention, cadets!" Commander Zethrak's voice boomed across the arena. "The gauntlet consists of 3 stages. Survive all 3, and you advance. Fail any stage, and you return home. Stage 1 begins now." The floor beneath them split open. Maya dropped, her stomach lurching, before emergency repulsors caught the cadets and lowered them into a massive arena filled with shifting obstacles and combat drones. Stage 1, Combat Assessment. Destroy or disable as many drones as possible in 15 standard minutes. Begin. The arena erupted into chaos. Energy weapons discharged, blades sang through the air, and alien battle cries filled the space. Maya's hand found the standard-issue plasma pistol at her hip. She'd never fired a gun before in her life that a drone locked onto her, its weapons charging. Instinct took over. Maya rolled, came up firing. The first shot went wide. The second clipped the drone's wing. The third struck center mass, and the machine exploded in a shower of sparks. Her heart pounded. Adrenaline sang through her veins. This feeling, it was familiar. The focus, the clarity. She'd felt it before, during her Muay Thai training. During the night, she'd climbed 3 flights of stairs to save a child from a burning building. Her body moved before her mind could catch up, dodging, weaving, firing. The drones were fast, but Maya was faster. Where other cadets relied on shields and armor, she relied on movement. Where they stood their ground, she flowed like water. 12 minutes in, she'd disabled 15 drones, placing her in the top percentile of all cadets. Commander Zethrak watched from the observation deck, his 3 eyes wide with disbelief. "Check her vital signs," he ordered. The medical officer complied, pulling up Maya's biometric data. "Commander, her heart rate is at 140 beats per minute. Her oxygen consumption is elevated, but she's showing no signs of distress or system failure." "That heart rate would kill most species," Zethrak muttered. "How is she still moving?" "It appears to be normal for her physiology, sir. Humans have remarkably efficient cardiovascular systems. Their blood carries oxygen using iron-based hemoglobin. It's incredibly effective." On the arena floor, Stage 2 had begun, the zero-gravity obstacle course. Maya watched as larger, stronger cadets struggled with the sudden loss of orientation. Species that had evolved on high-gravity worlds found themselves helpless, unable to control their momentum. But Maya? She pushed off walls with calculated force, using her relatively low mass to her advantage. She'd spent summers cliff diving, had taken gymnastics as a child. Her brain adapted to the 3-dimensional environment with shocking speed. She wasn't the fastest through the course, but she finished in the top third, while cadets twice her size floundered behind her. Stage 3 was the tactical puzzle, a simulated command scenario where cadets had to lead a small unit against overwhelming odds. Most cadets approached it conventionally, using superior firepower and defensive positions. Maya looked at the scenario differently. She'd grown up on stories of human military history, of Thermopylae, of Agincourt, of every battle where the smaller force had defeated the larger through cunning and will. She studied the terrain, the enemy movements, the resources available. Then she did something none of the other cadets had considered. She gave ground. She lured the simulated enemy into a narrow canyon, used the terrain to neutralize their numbers advantage, then struck from an unexpected angle. The simulation ended with her victory. The computer flagged it as unconventional but effective. When the gauntlet concluded, Maya stood among the survivors, exhausted but alive. She'd placed 19th out of 200 cadets. Not the best, but far from the worst. Commander Zethrak faced the assembled survivors, his expression unreadable. His eyes found Maya in the crowd and held there for a long moment. "Cadets," he began, his voice carrying authority that transcended species. "Today, you have proven yourselves worthy of the Celestial Vanguard Academy. You have shown strength, intelligence, and adaptability. These qualities will serve you in the challenges ahead. He paused, his gaze still on Maya. Some of you achieve these results through superior technology, through evolutionary advantages, through centuries of martial tradition. And some of you achieve them through sheer, stubborn refusal to quit. A ripple of interest passed through the crowd. Several cadets glanced at Maya. Cadet Chun, Zethrak said directly, "You are the first human to ever pass the gauntlet of proving. Your species file indicated you would fail within the first 3 minutes. You lasted all 3 stages and placed in the top 10th percentile." Maya swallowed hard, unsure if she was being praised or accused. "Your acceptance to this academy was an error," he continued, and Maya's heart sank. "But as I watched you today, I realized something. Perhaps the error was not in accepting you. Perhaps the error was in assuming you didn't belong here." He stepped forward, his forearms crossed. "Humans are new to the galactic community. We assumed, as we always do with emerging species, that you were weak, fragile, limited by your short lifespans and chemical-based biology. We forgot the most important lesson the galaxy has to teach." His voice grew stronger. "The harshest worlds breed the strongest survivors. And Earth, Cadet Chun, is one of the harshest worlds we have ever encountered. Your planet is a death trap by galactic standards. The fact that your species not only survived there but thrived, built civilizations, reached for the stars, that tells me everything I need to know about human potential." He looked around at all the assembled cadets. "Each of you will face challenges here that push you to your limits. For some, that limit is high. For others, it is low. But I suspect that for humans, the limit is somewhere we haven't yet discovered. Because you don't come from a world that taught you to accept limits. You come from a world that taught you to break them." Maya felt tears threatening, but she refused to let them fall. "Not here. Not now. Welcome to the Celestial Vanguard Academy, Cadet Chun. All of you, get some rest. Training begins tomorrow, and I promise you, the gauntlet was the easy part." As the cadets dispersed, several approached Maya, some with respect, some with curiosity, some with thinly veiled jealousy. A massive Vrexian warrior with 4 eyes and chitinous armor stepped in front of her. "Human," he rumbled. "I am Krathos. I did not believe you would survive today." Maya met his gaze steadily, despite the foot and a half-height difference. "I almost didn't. But you did. That interests me. Perhaps humans are not as weak as the data suggests. Perhaps." Maya agreed carefully. Krathos made a sound that her translator interpreted as laughter. "Good. I look forward to training with you, small warrior. If you survive it." As he walked away, Maya finally let herself smile. She'd made it through the first day. She'd proven she belonged here, at least for now. Her datapad chimed with a message from Commander Zethrak. "Report to my office at 0800 hours tomorrow. We need to discuss your training regimen. It seems we'll need to develop a new curriculum, one designed for a species that evolution forged in fire." Maya looked out through the transparent aluminum walls of the station at the stars beyond, billions of them, representing thousands of worlds, hundreds of species. Somewhere out there was Earth, small and blue and deadly, the world that had shaped her into someone capable of standing among the galaxy's elite. She'd been accepted by error, but she would graduate by choice. The galaxy's strongest academy would have to learn what humanity had known all along. That strength isn't measured by size or technology or evolutionary advantages. It's measured by the refusal to give up, even when every logical calculation says you should. They'd accepted her by error. Now they would have to deal with the miracle of what humans could become when given the chance. And Maya Chun was just the beginning.